Greetings, greenhouse people. We are back with another episode of Tech on Demand, where our goal is always to help you grow your best crops ever. I'm your host, Bill Calkins, and throughout 2026, I've been catching up with different people in the professional horticulture industry to find out a little bit about their careers, their passions, their journeys in the world of plants, and much more. I'm calling these conversations Picked 4 because I sent each guest a list of 12 questions, and they picked 4 to answer and discuss. And although this episode is going to be a banger, I do want to encourage you to jump back in the archives and listen to the previous ones as well. I think the range of guests and their experience really showcases how awesome our industry is. Today, I'm excited to be joined by my friend Jose Sanchez, Ball Seed Company's Sales and Business Manager for the Pacific region. Jose and I have worked together at Ball for more than 20 years, and for much of that time, he was a sales rep in California with a really cool territory that included huge greenhouses, smaller greenhouses, suppliers of independent garden centers, suppliers of big box, nurseries, cut flower farms, really diverse territory. And the California market is definitely unique, and Jose's always been deeply embedded in the industry there, true partner to his customers. Currently, his role is a bit different as a regional sales manager and now a business manager working with even more groups and product lines. And I do want to get into that for a few minutes before we tackle the 4 questions he chose. So, Jose, welcome to the podcast.
Good morning. How are you doing, Bill?
Doing great. I'm glad that we can make this happen across multiple time zones. So, as I said, I do want to learn more about your current role with Ball Seed. But first off, we have to talk a little bit of baseball because we're both huge baseball fans.
Yes.
And your team is?
The Dodgers.
And the Dodgers, you guys are looking for like a World Series three-peat this year, right?
Yes, we are. And we're headed in the right direction, I feel.
30 games in. You guys are sitting atop the NL West by a game or half a game or something?
Half a game right now. The Padres are on our tail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Yeah.
Makes it exciting. So how are you and the millions of Dodgers fans feeling right now?
I think we're feeling pretty good, especially after last night, the nice walk-off win by our new guy, Kyle Tucker. Yeah, so that was kind of nice. That was fun. I was there.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Nice. Did you stay till the end?
I did. Yes.
Awesome.
True fans stayed till the end.
For sure. Sure.
I actually, the reason I like staying is when they win, just when they play Randy Newman.
Oh, yeah.
I love LA. Yeah. I really enjoy that.
That's cool. Did you grow up a Dodgers fan?
I did. I did.
All right.
I did. So we went through Fernando Mania. I could describe the first game I went to and, yeah.
So who is your favorite Dodger of all time?
So it's pretty close, but mine is this is going to throw people off.
All right.
My favorite Dodger of all time is Mike Scioscia.
Okay.
So I grew up playing baseball and I was a catcher and I just really grew up with him, trying to emulate him. But I'd have to say, like, if you talk about, I don't know if there's such a thing, like my emotional favorite is Fernando Valenzuela.
Okay. That's cool.
But as far as playing baseball and trying to emulate someone, it was him.
Yeah.
Mike Scioscia. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. No, that's cool. So, all right, we gotta get back to business because we really could probably talk baseball all day. We're not.
Yes, we can.
We're not going to get into my team. And in fact, I was thinking, well, there was a day back in the day that you and I traveled together and visited some customers and ended up watching a Dodgers playoff game. We probably did talk baseball all day that day.
We did.
And finished up with In-N-Out Burger, another classic California.
Yeah, I remember that day.
That was good.
Yeah.
All right, back to business. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey in the industry and what your job includes now? Because from what I remember, you started in production, and I'm pretty sure you worked for the artist formerly known as Heinz Horticulture, right?
Did.
This episode of Tech on Demand is brought to you by Prospient, delivering world-class greenhouse structures and systems. From innovative design and architecture to site development and project budgeting, the Prospient team provides the expertise to bring your vision to life. With local manufacturing across the U.S. and Canada, Prospient offers the scale and supply chain reliability you can trust, making them one of North America's largest manufacturers of commercial greenhouses. Prospient, leaders in greenhouse design, manufacture, and build. Learn more and connect with the expert team at prospient.com.
So my journey, and I've seen this year, hit 30 years in the industry now.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So my first job really at a production facility, a nursery, was 1996 at El Medino Gardens. They're another blast from the past,
They were big. El Medino was big.
So I worked there in I forget what they call it, but it was that triangle. It was El Medino, Hines, and Bordiers. They're in Irvine, the Santa Ana area. So then from there, I went to Hines. They're in Irvine, and then I had various jobs. I started in inventory, quality control, different things. And then I got into I moved to the Central Valley for a couple of years with Hines. Yeah, they had a facility that they acquired there. We call it color facility because it was really annuals, bedding packs.
Was that when Hines?
Yes, it was that time. That was 1998, 99 in that era. And then that's where I really got into scheduling, growing, more in that type of role. I learned a lot. I worked with some great people. Then I moved back to Southern California where I'm from. And I worked with, Nakasi Brothers. They were another big company out here. And I was doing production, and scheduling, in charge of all that. And then I went back to Hines in Rainbow in the, North San Diego area, Fallbrook, Rainbow. And then I was what they call the color program manager. So I did all the scheduling, production, procurement, and everything for all the annuals and what we call soft perennials, and it included poinsettias and things like that. So I was responsible for that. So then I was at Ball. I'm at Ball now. 20 years. Time has flown by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is your role? So you were a sales rep.
Yes.
You were a territory sales rep for 15 years or something. A long time.
15 years.
Okay.
And I, if you asked me back then, I would never think I would get into sales, right? There's this stigma. Oh, you're a salesperson, but I never thought. But in our industry, my background helped me so much. And I think it was invaluable to me and some of my customers in helping them, because I could say I was in their shoes,
Right.
And when you're doing that, I feel like, what value can you add to your customer,
Sure.
And I think that was the value that I've been able to add to my customers.
It's like instant credibility.
Yeah.
When you walk in, because you're kind of alongside them. You're not like the salesman coming in and pushing product, because you understand that there's more to it than that sale. There's a future, and that makes sense.
Yes, exactly. So that, and then what, and I did venture into something new, which was cut flowers. I never was involved in growing cut flowers or marketing or anything like that. I would buy them, for
right,
for people that, my wife, my mom, all those people. But so then I did that, and now I'm very entrenched in the cut flower business, for Ball Seed in particular. I do still work with a few customers on scheduling crops, and I work with the team at Ball Seed also to really strategize that program and what we're going to do and what products are going to bring in, what suppliers, things like that. So yeah, it's something I learned, and now honestly, like, I really enjoy.
So how did you, I guess I don't know this. I don't know I just always figured you always did cut flowers. Like you were one of the sales leaders in cut flowers for years and years and years. I figured it was like in your DNA. But did you just start calling on greenhouses that grew for that market, or was that something that was really expanding in your territory? How did that work?
So we had some established customers, and it was working with them and growing them, and at the same time, bringing on new customers. And what I tell people is they taught me. Okay. I was willing to go out there, see them, visit them, walk with them. Growers are proud people.
Mhm.
because I was a grower once and I was proud. I enjoyed walking crops with people when they would ask me questions. I was happy to answer them if I could.
Yeah.
And that's how I learned. And I just got into it. And now, I'm thankful for them for being
Mhm.
open but I feel like just get in their face and be there to support them and
Yeah.
they'll show you the way.
No, that's really good advice, I think,
Yeah.
for everyone in our industry, because that's
Yeah.
more than just cut flowers. That's really everything that our industry
Yes.
produces. I think it's that, I guess, desire to learn and the humility it takes to walk in and be like, "Yeah, I
Yeah.
really don't know. I've grown plenty of annuals, but not
Yeah.
cut flowers. Teach me."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool, and I
And
can imagine
yeah.
they'd be pretty open to that.
Yes. And I was fortunate enough. I mean, you might hear me talk about my dad a lot in this. He's,
Mm.
just because he was a big influence on me and my career. And one thing I'll never, what he told me, he's all the beautiful thing about the industry we're in is you can always learn something new. Maybe it's
Yeah.
not new. It could be new to you. It's new overall, new product, new cultural techniques, just different things. We can always learn. Right. And
No, that's
that's exciting.
so true. So true. Well, I do appreciate the history. I think it's always good to hear about folks' journeys because everyone's unique and everyone's journey is unique but everybody in our industry has a shared passion for the industry in general, or else we probably wouldn't be doing it because there's a lot of other
Yeah.
things we can do out there in the world. But we have 4 questions to get through. So are you
Okay.
ready? Ready
I'm
for the
ready.
4? All right,
I'm
let's
ready.
go. Question 1, what was your first exposure to horticulture and how did you feel, react, or respond?
Okay. So this is what I consider my first exposure was I was very young, probably about 8 years old.
Okay.
And my dad would take me to work with him. He was in the landscape industry.
Mhm.
So that was my first exposure, to that. We worked, we mowed lawns, we pulled weeds, we did it all, trimmed hedges. And how did I feel about it?
I
Well,
was about to say, and you're still
yeah,
doing this
yeah.
now?
As a young kid, sometimes on Saturday mornings, you're not doing the normal things that other kids are doing. But it was when I look back now, I wouldn't have it any different.
Yeah.
Trust me, I did get to play baseball. I did all that. I did all that. But
Mhm.
what was instilled in us is work ethic and responsibility. Really,
For sure.
is what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And you must have developed, I guess, an appreciation for the plant industry and the plant world. I mean, if that was your
Yes.
dad's business and that was something that you guys grew up doing, there is a sense of pride and passion for that. I guess that could emerge if you let it.
Yeah, so I think, my dad was the difference with him, he actually got into plants a little bit.
Okay.
So learning varieties and things like that. And, when I was older, the opportunities came up and that's when I veered off into the current industry, that
Yeah.
many of us are a part of.
Wow, that's cool.
But, when I was young, I would get jobs. I mean, it was interesting. I was 16, 17, 18 years old and people were asking me, "Hey, can you come redo my garden?" So
Mhm.
I don't know if everybody remembers the old Western garden book. It's I
Yeah.
had one when I was
Yeah.
young, and I would do research. Back then, we didn't have Google or anything like
Right.
that, and I did it myself. And I would just, I think impatience would work here. That was the
Yeah.
number one crop in California. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so you included that, I think this would be nice. And then, I mean, at a young age, I started doing jobs like that on my own. And eventually I actually had my own route, for
Okay.
landscape and yeah, yeah.
I was going to ask you, did you end up kind of having your own small business as a teenager? So you did.
I did. I did.
Yeah,
I did.
that's
Yeah, my
good.
dad had a couple of stake bed trucks,
Yeah.
and I would use
Yeah.
one and he would use the other one and I had my own thing going. And I got into a little bit of design, on my
Mhm.
own as well. So I actually still have some of those somewhere in the garage tucked away.
Oh, that's cool. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. On to question number 2. If
Yeah.
you had a free hour, what would we find you doing? And we already just talked before we started recording about how busy family life is. So
Yes.
free hour, what are you going to be doing with that free hour?
Interestingly enough, after the supposed trauma as a kid, you'd find me outside in my yard. That's my place. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's my jam.
that's
That's
cool.
that's it. And it's funny because it connects me with how I grew up.
Mhm.
It connects me with my dad,
Yeah,
in a sense, and where I came from and what we did. And it could be from deadheading to planting to different things. You could find me. And then my son likes to get out there, my youngest son, because he likes to, so Dad, are you going to work outside? Are you going to go outside?
that's
So,
cool. I was
yeah.
gonna ask you, are you the one in your house that manages that? And is it, or are there others who will come out and work with you? Because I fly solo in the yard here in
It's
my
pretty,
family.
pretty solo,
Yeah.
I would say like mostly. And that's okay. Everybody has their roles, and they could,
Yep.
I don't get involved inside the house. I'll tell you that. But
Mm-mm.
as far as like picking things and, once in a while, recently my wife and I went and she selected some plants, which was
Yeah.
cool. Like, oh, I like that. And, I just give the feedback and she knows, now
Right.
what to get. She's like, oh, those are bloomed out. We should get these with buds,
Nice.
Yeah. I'm like,
Oh,
okay, it's
that's good.
working. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they pick things up here and there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. All right. Third question, and just to having talked for the last
Sure.
15 minutes, this is going to be, I'm really interested in how you
Hmm.
answer this. What advice would you give to a young person considering pursuing a career in horticulture?
So I would say, I've thought about this at times is don't feel that it's not a good career because it's not, because you're maybe not wearing, a suit or you're going
Mhm.
into get dirty or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with, and I guess one of the other lessons I learned is, and not all horticulture is that. And I learned that. My first lesson was there's nothing wrong with making a living using your hands or your back, you
Hmm.
know? And
Sure.
that's what a lot of us do. A lot of our growers do that. The people that work for them do that. But in essence, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. It could be literal and metaphorically, like get in there, learn,
Yeah.
be curious. There's a lot of different things that you can do in our industry,
Mhm.
which I feel like we have this almost this thing like you're working at a nursery. It's not, I don't want to work
Yeah.
there,
Right.
but
Yeah.
there's
It
so
must
much
be a
going.
temporary job or something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, trust me, I've learned that, production scheduling, marketing, right? There's sales. As you know, we have now, there's scientists, right? That
Oh,
work
yeah.
right there at Ball. We have Ball Helix, we have
Mhm.
scientists that are involved in our industry. There's so many different avenues. So don't be afraid to pursue any of those.
Yeah.
What's your passion? And I feel it's a great industry. We give a lot back to our communities, to the earth, you know,
Hmm.
and we color the world, right? That's what we known as. That's
Yeah.
one of our value, visions at Ball.
Yep.
So yeah, I would just say go for it. You know,
Yeah.
go for it.
Yep.
Yeah,
And you're right. You might have to pay your dues with the dirty hands, and that's
sure.
so valuable. And I would also say that talking to a lot of people across our industry for decades now, there's a lot of people who would not want to wear a suit every day and
Yeah,
walk out the
yeah,
door. I mean, that's sometimes the appeal of our industry is that
yeah,
there is a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit less formality than other
yeah.
industries, I guess.
Yeah, I have a customer who I remember we talk a lot, and he would tell me his sons. He grew a great business. He was trying to get his sons really motivated and involved, and they were going to college. He's like, yeah, they just envision themselves in suits and working in a high rise in downtown LA, and now they are killing it. They're doing really well in the business
In the
because I
business.
think that they realize, like, yeah, I can make a career and I can make a living. This.
And I think having so many family businesses in our industry, you hear that story every now and then, and it's always a good story. The kids went off, tried something, learned a bunch of great skills, probably
Yeah.
came back to the business and are changed things, but had that appreciation kind of instilled in them from day one. So I
Yeah.
think that's really
Yep.
good. All right, sort of on the other side of the coin,
Hmm.
something that I don't know. We've both been in the industry about the same length of time, so I know this question can be real. What advice would you give to an industry veteran currently dealing with burnout?
So, I mean, the and I don't know if it's good advice, by the way, but it's
Huh?
But
hey, advice is advice.
I would just say, remember what you're in it for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you here? And then why do you burn out? And I feel like you need to make time for yourself and to, heal yourself, your mind, your body. And it took me a long time to do that, and I don't know if I was burning out or not sometimes. And you know what? It doesn't mean that it could happen again. It could be
Sure.
recurring, right? It's not like, oh, I'm burnt out, I'm going to cure myself and then it's gone forever. It doesn't really work that way. So, my thing would just be make time for yourself, for your family, friends. And for me, that's a big cure, to be quite honest with you. When you're feeling kind of down or burned out or overwhelmed, it's going to happen, especially in what we do. I mean, look at spring, right? It's
Yeah.
jam packed. I worked at somewhere, I call it the 100-day, just grind, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
if you
yeah.
think about it, like everything is put into a season. I mean, here it's more year round, but it's still, it's a lot. And I'll never forget. And I learned, I was fortunate to learn from people, at a young age. So I think it was at Heinz and it was spring, right? It was the first, I mean, it was huge. I'm talking it was a 500-acre facility. During spring, they're shipping over 50 semis in a day, across the country. And it was the afternoon. I'm all, oh my gosh. I was being kind of a crybaby, to be honest with you. And then someone looked at me and they're all, Jose, it's spring. This is the way it is. Get
Right?
over it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that just kind of, okay, yeah, it is the way it is. Afterwards, spring is over, the crazy time's over, you celebrate, right? You just start getting ready for the next go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's advice or not, but that's
No, I think the
yeah.
advice in there is to look for what you said is, look and figure out why you're feeling the burnout
Yeah.
and then attack that. And then and what you said, I think is profound, is that it's not just I was feeling burned out and then I fixed it and moved on. No, this is going to happen. So you got to remember what you learned the last time. I mean, taking time for yourself.
Yeah.
And figuring out what charges you up, I think, is critical. Because it's not just our industry. Like, you can get burned out in anything that you do.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think, our industry might have a higher likelihood just because of that 100 days of grind, which we are in the middle of as we're recording now. And it can feel tough because it's physical and it's mental and emotional.
Yeah.
But you're right. On the other end, there's celebrating the victories, which is important. And and then so many different opportunities within the industry. So maybe talk to some other people in your role and other roles and
see what they do.
Yeah. I think that's really good. Well, this has been awesome. I really appreciate your time. I feel like I could ask you questions all day, but I know we both have work to do and wrap this thing up. But thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Bill. Take care.
And hopefully $400 million gets you guys another World Series.
Yeah.
Really, I'm sure that everyone's rooting for you guys. And by everyone, I mean Dodgers fans, because I don't think anyone else is rooting for you guys.
So the Dodgers are just like Anna. They invest everything back into the company.
Oh my gosh. Well, you have to, with $70 million players. But no, it's true. When it comes to the World Series, when I don't have another dog in the race, because I never do, I do cheer for your Dodgers.
Thank you. Yeah. We appreciate that.
Hey, you know what? You need all the fans you can get. So.
Yeah.
All right, man. Take care.
All right. Thanks. Okay.
And I think that wraps up this episode of Tech on Demand, but I cannot close without reminding you to subscribe, like, share the podcast with your peers. There are almost 250 episodes in the archive covering topics from professional horticulture, garden center retail, landscape, CEA production, cut flower farming, and more. Take care out there.